Holy crap, my friends, we have a lot to go over from the SWTOR Ask Me Anything on Reddit. Oh, let's just get to it. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Hello, my friends. Boomy here once again with another video for you, my SWTOR brothers and sisters. How is everyone doing today? I hope everyone's doing great. And if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because if you don't, my trusty little Jawas, well, let's just say they know what you did last summer. So hit that button, my friends. Anyways, holy moly, my friends, the SWTOR dev team, Eric Muscles, Charles, and Tully, some other guy, who I've never heard of before, strange, went on to the Reddit to have an AMA, or as we like to call it, Ask Me Anything, just not that one thing. They did it, it was there, a lot of information to go through, and my typical things, I'll pull out certain things here and there and just splat them up there for you to look at. But on this one, I felt like this is either going to be a part 1, part 2, part 3 video. I don't got time to be splashing stuff. There's a lot to go over, so we're just going to go over it all. Sit back, my friends, enjoy, get that best bottle of mead. We're going to do this. Let's get into it right now. Now, okay, let's talk about Tully Auckland. He's a lead game systems designer, has been for Bioware, with Bioware for 7 years. Let's get to the questions, right? A lot of stuff about gearing and some other stuff. Will we get a Senya romance? No one asked that question, freaking A, come on! Will you revamp tank gearing and or defense scaling so that tanks don't have to mix and match DPS mods to perform adequately? They responded, we are not going to be revamping the functionality of stats. However, there will be a larger variety of stats on mods, which should allow better control of what stats your character has. Next question. Will you change the interaction of alacrity and the GDC to remove breakpoints? Example, by allowing players to have a GDC global cooldown actually of 1.32 seconds instead of 1.2.5 good lord 1.5 1.4 1.3, and thereby open up more flexibility in gearing choices for different specs. We are planning improvements, they say, to alacrity, but the details are still being locked down. Once we have more specifics to share, we will. Someone else asks, will relics, especially tanking, healing, and alacrity relics, present a variety of viable choices? This is something the combat team has actively been exploring. Can you give us more specifics on which relics you feel are not viable and why? Which currencies are we getting rid of? I really think it needs to be streamlined. Remember when they did streamline it? Huh. And they got rid of a lot of currencies. But this happens all the time, right? We're going to get rid of a lot of currencies just to make room for the butt ton of currencies we're going to bring in. They said, so fully acknowledge that currencies have gotten a bit out of hand as of late. Sorry. Historically, currency was used to gauge participation in specific content. However, we should be much more diligent about how many unique currencies are active at one time. For reputation areas, I'd like us to lean away from uniques and rely more on the reputation requirement and a simple credit transaction. Currencies planned for deprecation credit conversion will be unassembled components, command tokens, masterwork crystals, monumental crystals, and alliance recon data. For the existing reputation currencies, we'll be moving them to a new category on the currency window, so they aren't competing for end game status. Someone else asks, you mentioned in the live stream that since the shells will have set bonuses instead of armorings, does that mean that the shells will have the same boost in stats set bonus-wise regardless of item rating? Just as an example, if I had an empty chest piece on one that's 248 and the other is 252, would they both give the exact same set bonus? Would the amplifiers be different? Tully responds, I'm really glad you asked this. It's the sentence, not me. Once you get one, you obtain a shell with a set bonus on. Wait, I suck. Once you obtain a shell with a set bonus on, you effectively never need to get it again. Nothing changes depending on when it drops. The set bonus is just as good at the I rating 288 as it would be at I rating 306. Amplifier rolls and their max potential are not impacted at all. Ultimately, what this means is you get a set bonus item you love and a decent amplifier. Great, check the box and let's move on. If the amp isn't so hot, re-roll it a couple times until it's just right. Part of the whole intent with this system is that you never feel that the same thing again, just higher rating when it comes to set bonuses. To that point, we're going to mitigate the chance you get a duplicate set bonus item. Totally. Whew, a lot to go through. Well, that's good. That's awesome. Will all loot become personal, including in operations? If so, will we be able to trade items with guildies who need them more? Good question, Tully responds. The majority, he says, bold print, of loot will be personal. And for those not aware, personal loot means the treasure system has looked at you, evaluated your current character's potential, had a cup of tea, and then provided you with an item. To that end, personal loot is not tradable or bind on pickup or bind on whatever with other players, as the item itself was meant for you. In addition, regular group-wide loot will also drop from time to time depending on the content. As you asked specifically about ops, each boss will drop at least one personal loot item for you. This is the item that cannot be traded with other players. At the same time, the boss will drop group loot that can be greeted among all operation participants. He says, can you explain a bit more about gear drops and ops? Currently, if you kill a boss, you get a specific drop, with the exception of the queen, both in terms of gear slot and tier. With the new system, it sounds like ops bosses will still drop gear, but I'm not clear on how it will work. Will the gear drop still be slot specific or random, tier specific, or based on the power level of the tune that picks it up? Class discipline specific, still just one, or in some cases, 2 drops per kill. On one for everyone? Tully says, allow me to bring some clarity, friend. Operation bosses will drop both slot specific and random loot, for example. Group loot will be rolling very specific slots, primarily for ease of set bonus, tactical acquisition. Personal loot for each player that is more random in nature. This personal loot will evaluate your discipline and your item rating. Both group loot and personal grants happen at the same time. This means that every player walks away from the encounter with at least one piece of equipment, and whoever wins the group loot gets additional pieces. Op bosses will also drop the sole new currency of the expansion, which will go toward new vendors. To answer Olmec's question, the intent is that harder difficulties have better payoff, but we'll go into more detail how we aim to achieve this in the future. I'm in full agreement with Red Prof that Operation Weeklies, what? Eat your Wikis, kids, need some love, and we may end up redoing this concept in 6.0 to provide incentive and payoff. Someone else asks, what happens to existing cosmetic shells and crafting schematics in command crates? Will these be made attainable elsewhere? Purchasable via command tokens and or allow reverse engineering to learn how to craft items, especially the cosmetic items? Noise! What? That might be the name, but noise. Been looking forward to this question. First, yes, all cosmetics and schematics currently coming from command crates will be moved to a vendor so that these can still be acquired. Reverse engineering being a bigger part of the upcoming gearing, they ask, will we see it usable on older gear? Breaking down gear that we normally couldn't and learning schematics, something I miss about crafting and gearing, learning those recipes to make stuff. He says, he answers, totally does, reverse engineering older items? Right now we're discussing what we do here. Part of our PTS phases will be dedicated to crafting, so we'll be looking for feedback, and ultimately you may help us make this decision. Someone else asked Tully, how will the legacy storage for crafting materials be organized? And will there be a deposit all crafting items storage to the button? My friends, hold on your pants! Legacy storage is exceptionally exciting to me, and of course, there's a quick deposit button coming. We also would love to overhaul the crafting UI. This isn't something we're going to get in for 6.0, but it's high on our list. That someone asks, what will the base gear rating at the beginning of Onslaught? Also, will all the new gear be bind on legacy? We're still deciding, Tully says, exactly where the new item rating will start and end in Onslaught. The intent is that every new item in 6.0 will be bound to legacy. Hold on, kids. We're getting there. We're almost done. Not really. I'm lying. In 6.0, will there be a new crafting mats introduced, or will we be using the same grade 10 mats? Are the special mats that drop from Gods going to be used in any new schematics? They respond, the mystery person who did this, as with all expansion, it's a time where we can level the playing field for everyone going forward. Same deal with crafting materials, and as a result, we will be introducing grade 11 materials. Just to highlight why transitioning away from previous grades are important as we add new gear. The lifetime that grade 10 has been the top dog massively surpasses all other materials. We did an analysis last week, and we found accounts with more than, holy crap, 100,000 of every grade 10 material. And he says, and before you asked, we checked. They aren't bots. If we didn't transition away from this, it would allow players with these surplus materials to completely control the market uncontested, and we're sensitive to the economy. Holy crap, man. Clean your banks out. With the Galactic Command becoming Galactic Renown, what will happen to the Commanding Legacy-wide unlock, and the improved command experience 1 through 5? Character perks? I know that the various Command Rank 300 achievements are being moved to feats of strength, but I didn't hear anything about the Legacy character unlocks. They totally says, good call, dude. Good call out here. Here's where we're at. Character command perks are converted into Renown perks. Commanding Legacy, this is being converted to a permanent 25% boost to Renown points for all ranks. It's losing its stacking effect, but now applies to every rank instead of stopping at the most valuable 300 Tully. Someone asks, if we have a lot of the command boosts saved up, what will happen to those when Onslaught is released? Will they be converted to credits or changed to a new boost? Tully responds, any command boost consumables will be converted to apply to Renown. That's pretty cool. Will there be gear pieces that can be used in multiple set bonuses? Will relics, earpieces, implants have set bonuses on them? They ask impatiently. Am I understanding the question correctly? Will there be a single alien item that grants credit to multiple different set bonuses? No, currently we have no plans to do that. Knowing that the paradigm is shifting quite a lot with this update, we will start 6.0 by keeping set bonuses on the items we already expect. Head, chest, gloves, waist, wrists, legs, boots, toes. We've got our eyes on opening this up to, I get it, because I'm an idiot. This up to other slots, but only after thorough analysis of where we are at before we consider additional complexities. Will there be a new way of managing legacy armor, they ask? Our plan is to implement a type of loadout system where you can, this is awesome, by the way, switch between sets or use a defined gear without having to equip the pieces individually each time. To be honest, there's a good chance this will come in after 6.0, but it's absolutely a high priority for us for all the reasons stated here. As y'all, because they're from Texas, have additional thoughts on the best ways that something like this might work, definitely keep sharing them. Charles! Hey, Charles, how you doing? With everything becoming bind to Legacy, where are we at with the weapons in Outfit Designer? Haha, yes, this thing they've been promising us for a long time. For weapons and outfitter, we're still in the same place we were, unfortunately. It's near the top of our priorities, but hasn't made it to the sweet spot of priority versus effort to make it in yet. But with gearing hopefully in a much better place of 6.0, maybe it can finally hit the top of the list, smiley face. Also, just for clarification, we aren't planning to put amplifiers on weapon shells until we implement weapons in Outfitter. Ooh, that somewhat makes sense. Now, my whole thing, quick pause, because we're halfway through, is World of Warcraft's been doing this for years, so I'm not sure why it's taken them, okay, whatever. We're just gonna go. Once we start acquiring amplifiers and tacticals, will there still be a reason to craft gear either for our main characters or our alts? Guys, Charles says, I think I understand what you're looking for here, but let me address this question from a few different angles, and hopefully get the answer you're after. Smiley face. 1, our overall goal is that you definitely have reasons to keep on crafting once your main is fully geared. Well, yeah, it's to sell stuff, duh. Whether that's to pursue different builds with set bonuses and tacticals, or to craft things for your alts as you called out. For clarity, crafters will be able to create mods with amplifiers as well as tactical items. That exact spread of options is still being developed, and we'll look forward to y'all's feedback at that aspect. With the legacy changes, crafting gear for your alts will be a great way to jumpstart in gearing. And page break, we are also actively exploring the possibility of crafting only tacticals. Charles. Someone else asks, your testing schedule seems too short to accurately test all these new items. Wouldn't it be more effective to test more than one class at a time? We agree! We don't plan to test all the classes individually as we are the Inquisitor. Our goal is to get a general baseline on one class plus new abilities plus new gear and make sure that's in alignment with both our expectation and y'all's once that's done. We'll expand all out to all other classes. If the new gearing system is a success and overly loved by the community, does Bioware team have it in their interest to, over the course of after expansion, plan to add more set bonuses, tactical items, as new content comes out, i.e. Flashpoint, Ops, new PvP game modes, etc.? Tully says, this is a good shout. What? And I don't... Tully, what's wrong with you? It occurred to me we haven't been explicit in our support plans after 6.0. New tax, set bonuses, being added post-launch is absolutely the goal. We are leaning away from the adding the post-launch vertical progression, the I-rating climb, and instead of focusing on efforts in horizontal sets, tacticals, etc. aspect. This will open up more interesting interactions and allow us to create more thematic rewards for new content. I mean, they're busy doing their thing, and I love what they're doing back at Bioware right now, so I'm really excited about what we're going to get. Next question. Will there be a new set of augments to come with the new gear changes? Item level increase? There are new augments coming in 6.0 to go along with the new item ratings, Tully says. Yo, what? Will there be PvP set bonus and PvE set bonuses? As for PvE, PvP specific bonuses, right now there's bonuses that may be more beneficial to one content type than the other, but there's no exclusivity or limiting of them. Coming out of PTS, we'll analyze if any changes need to be made. Mr. Tull. Question, will we see the same stat point inflation in Spoils of War that we currently have with 258 gear? And if so, will ops be rebalanced around it? Or should we expect stats to be closer to how they were at 242, 248, in effect, not raw amount? The inflation, Tully says, and raw stat power creep that came with 252 and 258 gear is something we want to lean away from. These ratings push the player far past where NPCs expected the player to be. Stupid NPCs, always leaving us behind, right? Expected the player to be, which had knock-on effects across the game. You can expect I rating evaluation to be similar to, in effect, to the 242, 248s. Amplifiers, tax, and set bonuses are intended to make up the difference both from a stylistic view and a min-maxing standpoint. We're getting there, friends. What effect will these changes have on high alacrity builds that are currently possible due to these inflated stat pools? Will they only be viable on classes with alacrity bonuses, or will we see set bonuses, tactical items, amplifiers that will allow them to run effectively? Will alacrity be fixed and round to the nearest 100th? Or are we stuck with the alacrity breakpoints? As Muscle calls out, Tully says, we're intending to make improvements to alacrity, and we'll talk more about that in the near future, Mr. Math Guy. What will happen to CXP packs, someone asks. Will XP boost consumables still be a thing? They already kind of covered that. If so, will they be refreshable? Will XP boost consumables impact Renown again? More generally, how will all the various boosts be interact? The CXP packs use these before... For CXP packs, use these before 6.0. CXP consumables will be going away. This delivery mechanism was a byproduct of the original CXP 5.0 launch that we weren't able to move away from. In 6.0, CXP Renown will be generated via content rewards, not consumables. CXP boosts rebranded to Renown boosts. Everything they currently do stays intact in the new system. I'll try to get some eyes on the refresh able issue and see what we can do here. XP boosts will impact Renown gain. Let me explain a little how this works. A portion of all experience points gained and converted into Renown points. Any increases to experience points increases this increases this. Sorry, this experience conversion is on top of the existing renown points. Think of XP conversion as a bonus on the existing values. A renown boost will affect all renown gains. This means there's a world where XP and renown boost work together. If that's your thing, it's my bag, baby. It is. We're almost done, friends. Do you feel that tactical items and how you acquire them will bypass these RNG dependent issues? Or are we going to get them at a rate where not getting the ideal one won't be a massive issue for too long? This guy Charles says, no, not Charles, but some mystery dude. Let me offer some explanation around how we avoid this for tacticals. All tactical items are the same power level. They are meant to be horizontal progression. Although we know that some will inevitably pop up as a desired tacticals, they should all be roughly equal. Also, bullet point, we have built in a bad luck prevention. As you get drops that aren't a tactical, the game will increase your chance of getting one. I think this is awesome. Every game should have it. Actually, a lot of games have this. We also have duplicate protection for tacticals so that once you get a tactical, we lower your odds of getting it again, provided it is in your inventory equipped, blah, 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 since you only need it once. Do you? I don't know about you, but I'd like to have two for reasons, okay? I'm offended. Will bosses drop actual gear or unassembled pieces you can exchange for gear based on your class and spec, as it is now? Charles, we do plan to have tacticals that drop from bosses. Hey, thanks, Charles. Oh, we're almost there, guys. I see the light at the end of this rather long tunnel. Will they always drop items based on your current gearing rating, or you'll get better ones from harder modes, veteran, master? We're still determining the specifics in terms of which bosses drop them. Charles responds. Someone asks, will bosses drop tacticals? If they will, then which bosses? All of them? Like only last ones? How much? 1, 2 for everyone? And what difficulties? I feel like this person is just like, will these drops be the regular random, e.g. Brontis always drops a specific tactical, Brontis always drops a random tactical, Brontis has a chance to drop specific tactical, Brontis hates cheeseburgers on Sundays, has a chance to drop random tactical? Charles responds in a rather very short sentence. Our plan is that a specific boss would drop a specific tactical. What about Brontis? I mean, come on. Come on, this guy apparently really likes this Brontis dude. What about existing command crates? What will happen with them? Command crates will stay as they are, minus the CXP consumable command tokens, which they already talked about. These crates will not scale with you and are still level 70. Oh no, because we're going up to level 75, y'all. What restrictions, oh guys, we're at the end of the tunnel. What restrictions are there going to be on acquiring gear for free-to-play preferred players? Most of the things we are talking about are in Onslaught, so they would not be available for free-to-play. We are going to be improving how preferred status players can get gear who have access to Onslaught. We will be sharing those details as we get closer to the launch. Eric Musko! If amplifiers won't be included in balance targets, will that make progression of the new operation too easy? Will top teams just agree not to use them, or will the stat increases be too small to make a difference? Musko replies, they are not captured in any PvE balance targets except for the master mode operations. They make a huge difference to your character, but they give you more options for really min-maxing. Musko! When crafting gear in 6.0 with relevant stats, how do we acquire materials? The same way you always do, dude. Endgame crafting gear will be required the following materials. Profession-specific materials? Well, yeah. A conquest material? Duh. Content material? Yeah. Legendary material? Yeah. I'm not going to go through that because it hasn't changed much. Will the difficulty of the content affect drops you get, or will, for example, veteran FPS and master mode flashpoints drop the same items if drops are based on your current power level? Short version? Yes. The difference should impact the gear that is dropping, and in general, higher difficulty equals better drops. Well, duh. There's a much more complex answers for this, but that's forthcoming as we hash out the little details. Stay tuned. Josh, hello. We're almost there, friends. Oh, we are like there. We're at the end of the tunnel. Since the levels for renown will all be equally good, does that mean that our XP it takes to get from level to level will remain static as well? Totally. Yes, each level is static, just like my shirt. There's no increase in renown required when leveling up. So, I'd like to know, this guy asks, how is this gearing system going to affect me as a returning player? Is there some easy way to get caught up on how I'm supposed to get gear for my old role? Are there systems which make it intuitive? Musco replies, "Hey, buddy." I just added that. "If you look at all the details of Spoils of War, it seems pretty complex, but I can simplify it quite a bit for you as a returning player. When Onslaught launches, make sure you are in the spec you want, and then play whatever content you want. We will make sure you are getting gear relevant to your character from drops, crates, vendors, and missions. Play what you want, get stuff you want. Eric Soulpatch Musco." Bro, we're here, my friends. Since all new gear is no legacy bound, would I be correct to assume that I will not be able to sell or buy it on the GTN anymore? "Let me clarify this, Tully," responds. "Anything that is currently dropping as bind on pickup will now be bound to legacy. Anything that is currently dropping as bind on equip, primarily crafted items, is now bind on legacy on equip, Bolo. Bolo, kind of like Solo, but with a better audience. This means anything you could have sold before, you still can do so. It just now has a legacy component once it is equipped." That makes sense. "Throughout the lifespan of SWTOR," says Long Question, "the game has been a plethora of different loot and progression philosophies over the years. Onslaught seems to really be challenging the current state of loot design, both acquisition and progression, once again. Could you speak to their overall mentality and approach for this new design philosophy regarding loot? If you could touch on what you're experimenting with and where you see the true value in the design approach, that would be excellent." Charles responds, "If I were to distill the overall philosophy of our approach to gearing in Onslaught, it's to make gear more fun and easier to acquire, with more interesting variety, adding horizontal progression instead of purely vertical, and more plentiful drops throughout the game, movable across your legacy. Essentially, play what you want, get cool gear, have fun," which, one could argue, isn't what we're supposed to do in games anyways. Bonus questions. Also interesting to know that Eric has been on SWTOR team for 40,320 years. Looking good for your age. Eric Musco, "I have been graying since I was like 17, y'all." And the bonus question is, what do you like on your pizza? Eric Musco, "Pepperoni." Tully, "Pepperoni" is the correct answer. My friends, my friends, my friends. Holy Snickers, there is a lot to unpack on this one. We're just going to let this read as it is. They explained a lot of great things, a lot of great questions, a lot of great answers, and I really think this is something they should do again in the near future. Not necessarily, towards gear and item, which, that's what a lot of people like in their games, gear chasing, right? But I think they probably won't do one on story, but I can see them doing one on story after 6.0 launches. But this was great. This is awesome. And I like how this is part of their new communication with the community, because we have gone through how many dry patches of nothing from these guys. And then now then you have little spurts of this here and there, and then I'm back to nothing. But this is great. This is awesome. A great way to get the community in to ask their questions and have the developers come in and answer them as they can. So a lot of great things coming to Onslaught. A lot of great changes come to the gearing system and how things will progress from there. My friends, I'm excited. Let me know your thoughts. I know this was a long video, but I wanted to get it out there to you guys and see what your thoughts are on all this stuff. Let me know in the comment section below. Hit that like button if you like what you see here. It helps the channel out quite a bit. And if you also really like what you see here, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because I will love you forever. Become part of the family here at Boomy Nation, the freak show of YouTube, the black sheep of gaming. My friends, as always, remember to be kind. It's about community. And we'll see you later. Good day.